Welcome back. You've made it to another Odette the Priest healing video. Today we'll actually be going over my main class, a cool build that I found on Discipline Priest that involves the use of Shadow Covenant and Evangelism. Shadow Covenant you might have played with in the past. I've loved it since BFA. I used it all through BFA, much to the chagrin of everyone I played with, but I thought it was really good. I still think it's really good. Evangelism is maybe a talent you've never tried before because just at face value, looks kind of bad. A minute and a half cooldown for 6 more seconds of atonements. Doesn't seem that good, but I think these two synergize extremely well. I really like the synergy between these two, and I'll kind of explain why. So Shadow Cove, first, we just got to kind of get an understanding of how this works. Basically, it puts us into a shadow form where we're locked out of our holy spells. So that includes like Powered Shield, Radiance, Penance, Solace, Divine Star, but mostly Dispel and Mass Dispel. So you can't Dispel when you're in Shadow Cove form. And that's the biggest hang up about this spell, I think, for a lot of people, is that if maybe you don't have the greatest knowledge of pulls or fights and you don't know what Dispel's coming up, you go into Shadow form, well, now you can't Dispel for 9 seconds. That can be pretty bad. You can screw yourself, screw your group. Yeah, with that. But so it takes a little bit of knowledge of the pulls and the fights and the spells that are coming up. But once you get that figured out, I think it augments Disc Priest. So it's so good. I love the spell personally. I think it works. There's also additional synergies I've been playing around with the Shadow Mend legendary, because the Shadow Cove also buffs your Shadow Mend by another 25%. So with the Shadow Mend legendary, I've seen Shadow Mends like 65, 70k crits, like really big Shadow Mends. Okay, but anyway, back to the build. So Evangelism. So how the rotation sort of works. So this gives you like a general rotation to work with. So if we use all of our holy spells first, like Penance has a 9-second cooldown. Solace is what, I think 15 down to 13 with my haste. Divine Stars 15. So they kind of have like shortish cooldowns. So you can stay in holy form, just kind of be doing your healing. Maybe you need to Rapture first, keep your group topped off. Penance, Solace, Divine Star, and as damage is coming, once you've run out of holy spells, you can enter Shadow Cove form. And now you're into like, Schism, Mind Blast, Mind Games, Shadow of Death, Shadow Fiend works. All these spells are then buffed as well. So you can get a lot of AoE healing out. Now the trick is, though, this is the big skill cap of the build, I think. Shadow Cove lasts 9 seconds, and during that time you cannot cast Powered Shield. The only way to get Atonement on your party is to Shadow Mend. And it's really bad to just waste Shadow Cove by casting Shadow Mends on your group, I think. I think there's way more potential to it if you can have 8 to 10 seconds of Atonement on your group as you're going into Shadow Cove form, because now you can just use all of your Shadow spells for that AoE healing. And you can get a lot of value out of it. You still can use Shadow Mends, if the situation calls for it, for your spot healing. But just having Atonements out on everyone before you go in is super key. And so Evangelism ties in with that really well. I kind of think of it as like basically like a instant cast Radiance without the healing really, but just the Atonement part of it. So like I say, like I'm casting my Radiance, maybe I press Penance, Solace, Divine Star. Okay, now I'm at 4 seconds. I roll that over, 9 seconds, go right into Shadow Cove form. So all of that just synergizes so well. Now my whole group still has Atonement for the whole thing, right until the very end, and I can easily go right into another Radiance. Penance is off cooldown, Divine Star's off cooldown again, Solace is off cooldown. It gives you like a really nice AoE rotation for Mythic Plus dungeons. You can play around with Schism or Twist, depending on how much damage the group is taking. If you think you're getting a lot of value out of Twists in the dungeon, you can go Twist. I think both are good. Just depends on like kind of the key, I think. But then, so now I have a clip of this build in action. It's just a trash pull, so it's in Theater of Pain. If you've ever healed like this pull, it's pretty difficult. So we're just gonna watch. So first I start off with all my holy spells. So I think in this video I start with Rapture. We're already even like kind of low as we're going into this pull, but we do have Prideful buff. We just killed the Prideful. So I'm going to start with Rapture, go through, just use my Rapture. Then I'm going to use all my holy abilities: Divine Star, Penance, Solace. I think I even try to cast like a Radiance Penance just to try to get that legendary proc. And then I know there's no dispels in this pull, so I can easily just go right into Shadow Cub form, and I rotate through all my shadow spells, Mind Blast, Mind Games, and then depending on the situation, you can Shadow Fiend, or just go into Spot Healing with 25% increased Shadow Mends. And then as Shadow Cub's ending, the atonements are just about falling off, so I Radiance again, and then just go through my holy rotation again. And then you can rely on other cooldowns like Barrier, Power Infusion at this point, just depending on what's going on. So let's just watch it. This pull is the hardest pull in here, right? Let me turn myself down a little bit. So just going through the Rapture here. I'm trying to even out my atonements, so I'm making sure the atonements are evened out. And right here I'm going to Radiance, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and then try to get a Penance proc. It doesn't proc. Everyone's super low. I get there's my Shadow Cub form right into huge Mind Games. These really big Shadow Mends here. And then as I'm leaving Shadow form, now all my holy spells are off cooldown. Hit another Radiance, Divine Star, Penance, Solace, the whole rotation. And then things are starting to die here, but I'm kind of debating, like, okay, there's still a lot of damage going out. Do I need to Barrier here? I already Power Infusioned, but things are dying off, so I'm like, yeah, I don't think I need to. I'm waiting for this Radiance to come off cooldown here. There we go. And that whole time I didn't get a single Penance proc, which is annoying, but you can see like the build sustains 10k HPS. I think it's pretty good for a Shadow Cub Evangelism build. If you want to try something like this, I think there's some really cool flow and synergy to it. All of your holy spells are on short cooldown, so you can use them, rotate into shadow form, use all of your shadow, short shadow school spells, Shadow Cub ends, all of your holy spells are off cooldown again. You can go through your holy rotation. Shadow Cub's, I think, a 30-second cooldown, so it won't quite be up once you're done with your holy spells again. But yeah, and it's only 2,600 mana, I think. Let's double check. 2,500 mana. It's not even super mana intensive. Radiance is 32. So, it used to be pretty mana intensive. I think they've kind of fixed that a little bit, and I think it's a really fun build to play. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. And if you have any other like cool Disc Priest builds that you've tried and liked, maybe a cool legendary or something, some legendary synergies, let me know. I want to try it out. But thank you for watching the video, and let me know if you like the build.